Okay, but how are you gonna fix this? It's a question you never want to be answering, and definitely not when you're 26 and just started a new job. But let me back up a little bit. At the time, I'd recently been hired by Major League Baseball to oversee social media strategy, and my responsibilities included the commenting section of the league's website. So on a Tuesday before Thanksgiving, thanks to a user who we'll call MLB fan 4546, I found myself standing in an executive's office being asked just that question. A few weeks earlier, a user, MLB fan 123, had started causing trouble within the commenting section of a number of articles. He'd found a group of users talking about something mundane like who should start at first base next season, and joined the discussion using colorful and rather suggestive language to express his disagreement. Obnoxious, but standard internet troll behavior. The users who had been discussing the topic would get upset and flag the offenses. Major League Baseball's customer service team would review the flagged comments, and if they violated our terms of service, would remove them. After a few more complaints about MLB fan 123, they took the step of blocking his account from commenting as was procedure. A day or two later, MLB fan 456 appeared and began causing the same issues. Eventually was banned as well. A day after that, MLB fan 789. And you can start to see what's happening. We were playing whack-a-mole with a hydra. Ban one account and another one would appear, and you never knew when it would happen, where it would happen, only that this user was lurking somewhere and what was bound to surface. Like most trolls, the increasing outrage from other users, as well as the actions taken by our service team, only served to embolden the behavior. We watched as he increasingly went after more users and escalated his rhetoric. At MLB fan 1617, users began openly talking about their frustrations with our inability to solve the issue. At MLB fan 3435, users who were also season ticket holders started reaching out to representatives of the team to air their grievances. And by the time we got to MLB fan 4546, executives of the team had reached out to executives at MLB to address the strong concerns of some of their most valuable customers, earning me a summons to explain what was going on. Because the only requirement for an MLB account was an email address, the short-term solution available was to manually monitor the comments over the holiday break and ban new accounts as we saw them. And while I did have to read through pages of comments between eating stuffing and gravy, one more thing that I was thankful for that Thanksgiving was that MLB fan 4546 apparently had a family too, and decided to spend Thanksgiving with them rather than with us on the comment threads. After Thanksgiving, the account started back up, but escalated a step, making personal threats against other users. And while colorful language may be an editorial issue, threats are a security issue. And we were able to pass the matter along to MLB security to follow up through the appropriate channels. And so after weeks of banning accounts, phone calls, executive meetings, and a lot of stressful moments for me, the accounts were traced to a residence and our mystery troll was unmasked. It's a 13-year-old boy. The experience illustrates what I believe is broken about our communities online: the ability to be anonymous in public spaces. Communities that exist on the internet are often qualified as digital communities, online communities, or social communities, implying that they're somehow lesser or should be considered different than the real communities we form in the physical space, like a neighborhood association, an alumni group, or a church congregation. But the problem in doing so is that we diminish the shared stake we all have in the health of these communities, as well as the responsibilities we have to individuals, to its members, and for its members. Assume for a moment that we bring all the users and conversations from the internet and put them on Franklin Street. Would you believe it normal to see a person or groups of people wearing masks, running down the street screaming misogynistic, racist, or homophobic things to the people they pass? I safely assume all of you would be shocked, appalled, and would do or say something. But we accept these behaviors as part of the norms of being online. What effectively prevents this from happening on Franklin Street is that our actions in public can almost always be tied to our real identities, keeping individuals accountable to social norms. But being anonymous on the internet empowers people to say and imply things that they would never do in person, and makes harassment extremely easy, placing a blight on the experiences so many of us others in the community. And while I do strongly believe that individuals are completely entitled to publicly speak as freely as they choose, I don't believe they're entitled to be unaccountable for their speech. It's not a stretch to consider that these behaviors, if they persist online, might also leak into the conversations and attitudes of these individuals, offline as well. And that I find heartbreaking. Because there are countless 13-year-old boys who've grown up with the internet in their pocket, for whom there is no distinction between online and offline communities, who mimic behaviors they see normalized in one community across another, with little appreciation for the harm they may cause. And as far as the solution, complete transparency of identity is as problematic as complete anonymity. But maintaining the status quo is also untenable. There has to be a middle ground. And since talking through solutions is probably a chat for another day, I'll leave you with, as members of this community, the same question that was posed to me 8 years ago. Okay, but how are we going to fix this?